Hey everyone, Ray from loveyourrv.com here once again, and today I have a little roof repair to do. So I'm up here on the Cougar's roof, and I've just noticed in the last little while, I don't know if it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little staple or something popping up here. I've kind of read online in the roof, around the edges they use screws, but in the center boards they use staples. And it looks like one is starting to work its way loose here, so I think what normally they would do is they would pull up the rubber, maybe take off the gutters, and pull the rubber roof up, repair the staples, but this one happens to be right almost dead center in my roof. So the way I'm going to repair it is I'm going to make a little slit and pull that staple out of there and replace it with a stainless screw. Then I'll use some Eternabond tape, cover it up, and should be good to go. So let me make a little bit of a cross cut in there and see if we can get that staple out of there. I hate to cut the roof, but I don't think I have much option. It's going to eventually poke through, and it pokes through without me knowing it. I could get a leak. Well, there it is. Super long piece of metal. Looks like it's busted off. Maybe it was a dud that didn't work right or something. Anyway, got that out. Just had to make a small little slit there to get it out. So now I'm going to drive a screw in there. First I'll put some Eternabond or a Dicor. Put some Dicor sealant on that screw first, and then I'll put a screw in there. Okay, so I've let that dry. Next I took some acetone and just with a cloth cleaned all around there, so I have a good clean surface to work with. Now we'll take some of this Eternabond. It just makes a surface conditioner and adhesive enhancer, so it just helps that Eternabond tape stick better. So we'll spray all around with that stuff. Then we'll wait till it gets tacky. We'll be ready to put our square of Eternabond tape on there. So the Eternabond sealant is activated by pressure, so it helps. The little seam roller helps you get a lot of pressure. You can do it with your hand too, but the roller just gives you a little more pressure on that tape. Helps you get some of the bubbles out if there is any. Here we go, nice little patch. I think to finish it off, I'll just run a bead of Dicor around the edges just to keep it from peeling up. I've never really had a problem with this tape peeling up, but it kind of finishes it off nice too. Okay, well, I inspected the main roof, and that was the only staple I had coming up. But down here on the slide-out roof, I do see there is some bumps. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but there's a bump right there. Just starting to show. There's another one further. There's like, I can feel about 3 or 4 of them in there. So I think right now I'm just going to leave them. They're not really sharp like that other one. They're just kind of a little bit of a lump where the staple may have raised up. So I'll monitor them. If they get to be a problem, I'll do the same thing here. But I think they'll be okay. Okay, so while we let that patch dry there, maybe I'll go through and show you some of the Eternabond tape I've done for the vents and stuff, and you can take a look how it's holding up. Some of it is now 3 years old. Give you a look at how it's all standing up. Let me get these vent covers off. Okay, so this is the first vent I did when I installed my fantastic fan in there. You can see the tape. This is almost 3 years old now. It's holding up really well. I haven't had to do any maintenance to the seal at all other than just cleaning. So that's the one I started with. And I liked it so much I ended up doing the other vents. I did the fridge vent. You can see that's looking good too. Let's move up to also did the skylight, all around the skylight with that. The forward vent that's in our bedroom. Give you a look at how that's holding up there. And we'll go to the bathroom vent here. Same thing. Tape's not really bubbling anywhere. Anywhere it's stuck down, it's still stuck. No rips or tears. Hasn't even really been faded by the sun. I think it's going to last a long time. So some of the unconventional things I did with it was I used it under my solar panel here when I mounted my solar panel mounting plates here. I used it underneath just so a little bit of protection from, these are like aluminum metal, kind of sharp, so I didn't want them cutting into the rubber roof, so I put down some of the tape under there. Another thing, I did the front seam with the Eternabond. That's a pretty common thing to do, where the fiberglass meets the rubber roof. Also, I've used it for running wires. You can see my solar wires going in there. Solar wires go down near the vent there, head off into the basement. Also, I've done the edging on the RV, kind of just to wrap it around a bit so the water can just go off and fall into the gutter and protect that seam there. But also if trees come along and hit the edges, I think it gives a little bit of extra protection so it doesn't tear the rubber roof. You can see when I installed my Wi-Fi antenna, I used it for the wire, to guide the wire. I think it looks pretty good, and it's instead of using little loop clamps and having to drill holes into the roof to keep them mounted. Some more edging. I also did the slide. One of my videos I showed on the slide there, the back railing there, where all the screws were a little high and they had just put gobs of silicone on top of the screws, and it was definitely going to be a place for a leak. So I ended up doing much the same that I just did with that popped rivet. I put in nice flat countersunk screws and then put some tape around there. Also taped the edges of the slide. Like I say, same sort of thing. Kind of gives it an extra layer of protection. It's nice when I'm up here and I'm dragging hoses along. At least I'm not dragging it on the rubber, I'm dragging it on the tape on the edge. And then back here, you can see where there's two lines of it. The reason I did that is the back corner of the rig was my big worry. That's where a lot of these rigs leak, right on that corner. Mainly because the water runs in there in pools and just sits there. And that's fine when it's raining, but even when we're using our AC here, the water drains out of the AC would run back in there. It would cause all sorts of nasty stains on here, and it'd be all stained in there from the runoff. So I laid down just a length of rope and put tape over it. Now I have a nice little gutter. So now the stuff runs off that, drops into my gutter and leaves. I also did the back corners here. So I did those a couple years ago, and you can see the tape is still nicely stuck down there. I just think it offers a lot better protection than that Dicor lap sealant. See what they want you to do with that lap sealant, this stuff. They want you to every year go check it out and try to find cracks, and it doesn't take much of a crack for water to get in between there. And then you're supposed to either dig it out or you're going to goop more Dicor on top of it. I'm going to show you my TV antenna. Yeah, this is sort of what they all do. They have Dicor. If they find a thing, they goop it on top of it. So, I don't know. I don't really like that method. So if you're wondering what these things are, they're just kind of a couple blobs of silicone I put up there, and that's to protect when this antenna comes down. See on this antenna there's a couple points here. When it comes down it slams into the roof. So I was worried that it might perforate the rubber roof, so I just put those on as a protectant. Just give you a closer look at the way it's folded over. It's kind of difficult to fold over because it's flat and it really wants to stick, so there's a few imperfections here and there. But you can see on the bottom here, all it is stuck to the plastic cover for that rail, and it's held on there fine. I've had it on for a few years now and it hasn't peeled up at all. Like I say, once this stuff is stuck down, it's stuck down. Kind of hard to wrap on the corner there, but it isn't peeling up or anything. Same with the slide outs there. The only issue I've had doing the slide outs is every once in a while after it's a strong rain, because there's a little bit of a lip there, it kind of holds a little more water than it normally would. The water would normally run off quicker before it evaporates. So I've had a few occasions where we've drawn the slide in and pushed a little bit of a pool, and it had just a little tiny bit of pool on the floor inside beside the slide, but no biggie. Give you a quick look what it looks like on this side. See what it looks like on that front cap seam, and along the edge there, running along there. You can see, unless you're really looking for it, you're not going to notice it up there. So some people say the tape might look ugly, but I don't think people notice it. My wife doesn't even know it's there, so from the ground you're not going to see it. Also, that tape stays nice and white compared to the usual stuff that's up there. It ends up turning dark and full of dirt, so I like it. So, roof looks good. All holding up well. Done the inspection. Can't find any problems other than those two popped staples. Maybe we'll head back down and I'll go through some of the negatives that Eternabond tape is, because it's all not roses. There is some drawbacks to using this stuff. So I'll go through those for you. Now, let's go through the negatives of using this roof patching tape in the place of your normal everyday Dicor lap sealant that most of the OEMs recommend, and almost every service center uses that. So number one, this stuff is sticky. Once it's on, just stick it on here. Once that's on, good luck getting it. Once it's set up, let's just set it up here. Give it a good roll on there. So once you got her down and it's sealed, that is a pain to pull off. You can see, oh God, yeah, you're not getting it back. That's why it sticks so well, that sealant, once it's activated. So I've got on the Eternabond site, they have a method when you take it off. You heat it up with a heat gun or a hair dryer, and that loosens up that sealant quite a bit so that you can peel it back. And then if you had to, you could use some chemicals to get rid of the remaining goop, but that's a big drawback. Once that's up there, it's going to be up there. Good part of it is it's supposed to last, 15 or 20 years, so it's going to probably last as long as your rubber roof is going to last. So by the time it's ready to go, your whole roof is ready to replace. If for some reason you had to, say you had sealed up a vent and your vent failed and you had to get it out again, you could take a knife and cut right along the seam where it's mounted to the roof, pull the vent out, put the new vent in, and then you could just put another layer of tape over it. The tape will stick quite well to itself, so that's one good thing, one way to solve that problem. And I have done that already. I've needed to change a wire when I did my cellular antenna. Let me go show you. There you go. You can see here I changed this antenna from a trucker antenna to the newer WeBoost antenna. So I had to pull up this wire, so I simply just took an X-Acto knife and cut a strip, pulled it out, and just added a new layer on top of the old tape. So number 2 drawback is price. This is a Roof Seal white 4-inch by 50 feet, comes on a roll. And that, well, it's actually down on Amazon to $50. It started out around $75. In Canada, it's still, because of the dollar exchange, pushing $90–95. So it's fairly expensive. And then I always advise you get the Eternaprime that conditions it and gets it tacky before you even put the tape down. And that thing goes for about $28 too. So it could be quite an investment up front to redo your roof, depending how far you want to go. But compared to one of these tubes, it's maybe $11, a couple of those tubes a year. So, but you get up to 3 or 4 years down the road, it starts to break even, and after a while, actually, the tape will be a bargain compared to constantly having to buy this goop and re-gooping it all the time. Number 3 is going to be possible warranty issues. You take this back under warranty and you've put all this tape on the roof, you're probably going to have voided your warranty. So one thing I did before I started applying this stuff, I waited till year 2 and all our OEM warranty was up. The roof warranty is 10 years, but really that's only the material on the roof, so it's not going to be a warranty against defects on the underlying roof. And as soon as you put solar panels or you put any aftermarket attachments, you're probably voiding your warranty anyway. You start putting antennas on there. I wouldn't doubt if you're voiding your warranty either. But it's something to consider. I wouldn't have a brand new RV and start putting on this. I'd at least wait till maybe year 2, and that's when the original sealant will probably be breaking down anyway before I start modifying things. And the number 4 negative I can think of for taping the roof would be resale. You never know what kind of buyer you're going to get. It might be hard to explain why you're not using the standard method of sealing the roof. They might be suspicious that you've had a leak and had to patch it. So I could see that being a problem for folks who might have a little issues there. But frankly, I think if you explained why you did it, some people would be happy that the used RV had the tape. Anyway, I know when I sell mine, I'll just show everybody all my videos. I guess another drawback could be what it looks like. I don't know, most people aren't going to see the roof except for me. I'm the only one up there. Hey Ann, you care what the tape on the roof looks like?
Oh, I've never seen it. What do I care?
There you go. It's wife approved. People often ask me what I use to clean my roof, and basically this is it. Put some Dawn dishwashing soap in a big bucket like this up on the roof. And I usually Just grab this soft bristled brush that I usually use to clean the sides and dip her in and put her on, let her set, scrub it in, wash it off. That's about it. I don't really buy any of the fancy roof cleaning stuff. I guess once in a while I have bought some of the stuff that's just for roof cleaning, but really I haven't found it make much difference. So after I give it a good clean, if there's any spots that I need to take off, like, you know, bird poop or pitch or whatever, I find the acetone works really well, and it doesn't hurt the rubber roof. In the past I've used mineral spirits. They work actually better than acetone for cleaning up the old sealant and that, but you have to be kind of careful, because if you leave it pooled anywhere on the rubber roof, it can cause it to bubble or damage the roof. So the safe one that I've found is acetone. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Angie's sporting her new doggles. Hope you found that informative, and I'll leave links in the description below to articles I've done in the past on the Eternabond tape. Till next time, Ray from loveyourrv.com. Happy trails, folks. Cheers.